Well, on Tuesday, City Administration presented a draft barrier-free policy to create guidelines for addressing local accessibility barriers. However, as Josh Ryan explains, the original inclusion policy use lead to council members asking for more discussion.
The City of Lloydminster presented an update to the inclusion and diversity policy this week, making its intention more specific than broad.
The barrier-free policy speaks to many of the physical challenges that adults, children, seniors will face in terms of having access to our facilities and supports and services.
The barrier-free was a lot more prescriptive as to the specific things that the city was going to do and where some of the efforts were going to be dedicated as far as making sure that city facilities are accessible to individuals.
However, several councillors don't want the original policy to disappear entirely, as it is more pronounced on the cognitive challenges for individuals and provides a guideline for a wider focus on inclusion.
There are numerous programs, and that's referenced in the inclusive policy, and where we partner with other organizations to provide employment. And there are many examples of other institutions that do that.
One suggestion was to rework the barrier policy to connect it with the inclusive elements, something that requires further discussion.
How do we go about carrying out some of these really important things to make sure we have an inclusive community? And what does the policy look like that supports it, and what are we going to do as far as communication?
There was some concern about the financial impact of meeting the needs of those with disabilities by upgrading facilities, but the city has already taken steps to address potential issues.
Sidewalk crossings, making sure that they are wheelchair accessible doors on our facilities as well. And there are many programs that are out there with grants that support those changes, because those changes were enacted after the building codes change.
And while new buildings are being constructed with accessibility in mind, adding features like elevators to every older building isn't a budgetary reality.
It would be at the expense of another area that perhaps may have as much validity and importance within the city.
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
The Lloydminster Region Health Foundation is unveiling the new Klinger Conference Room, showcasing the generosity of two donors. The unveiling is in honor of local entrepreneurs Richard and Barbara Klinger, who made a $200,000 donation to Project Sunrise, the initiative.
This building, considering it's focused on preventative health, primary health, community health at large, it'd be the perfect place. Obviously a high traffic area to recognize the generosity of Richard and Barb.
After losing their nephew to a battle with mental health, the Klingers made the donation hoping to help improve mental health services within the community.
They could get some doctors that are involved that'll help the locals have a place to go, a place for assistance, and feel comfortable in going there instead of having to go to another city.
The unveiling of the Klinger Conference Room takes place at Prairie North Plaza this Saturday at 4 p.m. And with the legalization looming, it has some asking how it may affect our furry companions. And according to the ASPCA, they have recorded approximately a 200% increase in marijuana toxicity since its legalization in the U.S. Dr. Becky Newman says that drug can have some staggering effects on our pets.
So the signs of toxicity in what we primarily see it in dogs is, they often are incoordinated and have trouble standing up, dilated pupils, often salivating quite a lot, and quite often they dribble urine on themselves.
And loose marijuana is not the only way dogs can consume the drug. Food and baked goods are things to also be cautious about.
Yeah, where we most often see the toxicity is when people have made pot brownies. That's probably a very common one. The dogs get into the brownies. Some people have it mixed with butter and other compounds like that.
If you suspect your pet has consumed marijuana, visit your local veterinary clinic as soon as possible. Well, the Performing Arts faculty at Lakeland College is preparing to host an evening of celebration next Tuesday. The event will honor and showcase some of the city's most promising young talents in the performing arts community. The 4th annual celebration is held to acknowledge excellence by those in Lakeland's Performing Arts program, which includes students from 5 to 17 years old. The evening features live performances from students and award presentation to a handful of recipients.
But by offering an evening of celebration, it's a real opportunity for the community to come in and have a great seat in our wonderful theater and see some really talented kids and instructors.
The most prestigious award is the Friends of Bob Mottram Performing Arts Award, which provides the winner with a one-year private music lesson at the college.
And I guess the other thing is we're not all going to be star musicians, but music is a lifelong endeavor, and I think for a lot of the students that's probably what it's going to be. It's going to allow them to play and continue to enjoy music for the rest of their lives.
The event is open to the public and tickets can be purchased at the Vic Juba box office. Well, the track and field season is underway, and as we see in this week's Beyond the Classroom, one Bishop Lloyd student is proving to be a star both on and off the track. You could say track and field runs in grade 9 student Jamie's DNA.
Well, my dad was always into it, and then I always kind of enjoyed running and jumping, so I just kind of picked it up.
While she may be small, she is a force to be reckoned with on the track. After a dominant season last year, Jamie is looking to do it again.
Jamie's a strong athlete. She's not the biggest girl in the school by any means, but that doesn't derail her from her athletic abilities. Last year she won the 100, 200 and triple jump, and then finished second in hurls. So,
while track plays an important role in her life, she doesn't let it take away from her performance in the classroom.
Well, I always try to work hard in school, get done on time, as well as be involved in athletics.
For Jamie, she's a really strong student athlete, so academically she's on a roll with distinction at Bishop Lloyd. So the work ethic that she has in the classroom, she takes onto the track with her to help her with her events.
While balance can be a struggle for many student athletes, Jamie's dedication can be attributed to lessons she's learned while on the track.
Well, it teaches me more like how to manage my time with school and the sports and keep active.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, hockey season doesn't begin for a few more months, but that doesn't stop teams from beginning the process of fundraising. And one of Lloydminster's well-known fundraising events for the Bobcats is back for another year. The Bobcats Evening of Champions returns to the Stockade Convention Center on September 6th. It's the Bobcats' most meaningful fundraising initiative, responsible for a significant portion of the team funds.
Outside that area, and depends on the year, somewhere in the area of 5 to 10% of the money we raise for the year.
And since it's the Evening of Champions inception, there's one key area about the event organizers have learned from.
We don't have to go out and get the most expensive speakers. We just have to have good entertainment. And if we have good entertainment, everything else seems to work out.
Past speakers at the event have included TSN personalities James Duffy and Bob McKenzie, the Hanson brothers, and Jeremy Roenick. This year's Oilers broadcast tandem Jack Michaels and Bob Stauffer are part of the evening festivities and promises to be another successful night of fun.
It's a great event. It's really, really entertaining. And if you like Junior A hockey, you'll have a lot of fun that night, and it creates interest in the team. We have trips that we're auction off, stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
Tickets can be purchased by visiting the Bobcats office. Well, the numbers keep adding up as to how bee colonies have survived the winter, and now another problem is buzzing. A company that produces a key ingredient to support bee health is closing its doors.
Fumagillin is a antimicrobial that works on a fungal bee disease called nosema.
Executive Director with the Canadian Honey Council, Rod Scarlett, says Medivet Pharmaceuticals is the sole supplier in Canada and is a worldwide supplier. There is no alternative product available to beekeepers who apply the treatment in the fall.
Well, I know a number of beekeepers bought enough product or have enough product in stock to look at fall treatments. And so it would be in the spring again that we'll really see the issue come to a forefront.
This new problem will affect commercial bee operators and comes as bee colonies have suffered heavy losses this winter. Scarlett has some preliminary estimates.
I've certainly heard some cursory information from Quebec that it may be the province that was the hardest hit. Ontario is certainly a hard hit, but again, there's instances in the prairies where it looks like we're looking at, and it could be in the range from 25 to 35% overwintering losses.
And Scarlett says these losses are 10 to 15% higher than last year.